The Part 3. The House That Wouldn't Let Me Leave. A true story of racism and revenge. The town that protects a lie. I didn't sleep at all. I sat on the floor of the living room, back against the wall, staring at the basement door with a kitchen knife in my hand. I didn't believe in ghosts, not really. But after what I saw, after what I heard in the dark, I didn't know what to believe in anymore. Lonnie came downstairs just after sunrise, rubbing her eyes. "Mama, why is the couch blocking the door?" I looked at her sweet, innocent face and I couldn't tell her the truth. "Not yet. Just some mice." I lied. "I'll call someone." But I knew mice didn't whisper. They didn't carve messages into wood. They didn't drag cold fingernails across the basement floor. That morning, I decided to go into town. I needed answers. If the articles were true, then people knew they just weren't talking. But why? I drove down to the Willow Creek Historical Society, a tiny brick building that looked more like an abandoned church than a research center. An older white man behind the counter gave me the kind of look I was already getting used to. "Yes, I just moved into 421 Willow Creek," I said, trying to sound casual. I was hoping to learn more about the house's history. He stared at me for a long moment, then slowly nodded. "You're the one who bought the Carson place," he muttered. "Thought it was condemned." "It was listed," I said, sensing the hostility. His eyes narrowed. "It shouldn't have been." He handed me a thin binder from behind the desk. "That's all we got. Don't ask too many questions." Inside the binder were property records, renovation permits, old black and white photographs, and something that chilled me, a map of the neighborhood hand-drawn, with red excess over some houses. My house had 2 excess. I flipped the page. A list of names. Dates. One stood out. Estelle Carson died 1963, found in closet unsolved. The little girl from the painting. The one Lonnie saw. The one who whispered in the dark. I followed the records until I found a strange folder tucked in the back. Inside were letters from people trying to leave the neighborhood and being denied. One note read, "They won't let me move. I put the house up for sale, and it never lists. The agent says it's not allowed. I think they're keeping us here. I think something's watching." Another said, "Ever since that family moved in, this place has changed. The lights flicker, the walls whisper. My daughter talks to someone who isn't there." It wasn't just a house. It was a town. They weren't just hiding what happened in 1963. They were protecting it. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. The same woman from across the street, the one with the dead rose garden, stood in the doorway. "You should leave," she said, her voice low, "before the house gets inside you." I stood up. "You know what happened here, don't you?" She looked away. "We all do, but knowing won't help you." "Then tell me anyway." She hesitated, then whispered, "They killed that little girl. Said it was a black man's fault. But it wasn't. The family did it. The father, he was sick. The town covered it up. Blamed him to keep the Carsons' name clean." "Why protect them?" I asked. "Because evil doesn't leave, miss. It roots, and it feeds on pain, on silence, on people like you." She turned and walked away. That night, I stood in the hallway, watching shadows crawl across the walls. Lonnie was asleep, but I knew we were being watched. Not by the neighbors this time, by the house itself, and deep inside the walls. Someone or something began to laugh. A soft, broken, childlike laugh that turned into a scream. To be continued in Part 4, Whispers in the Walls. Subscribe, follow, and like Voices Unheard, where the stories the world hides are finally told.